So, for
Mhm.
anyone that's listening, what is a conscious marriage? And how can someone kind of start veering towards a more conscious marriage?
Well, first of all, I think that conscious marriage is a context. It's a point of view that you take on that you really use your relationship as an opportunity for growth. And, when I first realized that my marriage is mine and it's my vehicle for me to grow as a human being and to evolve and to learn, and every kind of conflict and everything that we struggle through in our marriage is an opportunity for me to really do that inner work and to grow. It was like an eye opener for me. Well, eye opener is like undermining it. It was like a wake up moment where I was like, oh, like he's not there to make me happy. My marriage, I think we grow up really believing that once I get married, once I have kids, that I'm going to live this fairy tale and everything is just going to work out. And I know in motherhood, like I've experienced that as well. It's like, I'll just know. And a conscious marriage is really looking at your marriage from a different perspective. Like it's not there to fulfill you in any way or to make you whole. You are whole as you are, and your partner is whole as he is. And everything that's, experienced inside the relationship is really there for you to grow and expand. So it's that bigger commitment that partners have to grow and expand as individuals. And then, when you do that, you're pulled towards that purpose. You're pulled towards, to making a world and your family a better place because of the work that you do individually.
I love what you just said about, like society, like kind of teaches us to think once you're married, it's that happily ever after. It's like those Disney movies, we grew up watching. And so I think we kind of, think, oh, once you find your person, you get married, it's perfect. Everything's great from then on. So I love this concept of, you are whole as a person, your spouse is a whole as a person. So you have to kind of, find what works in your marriage for, it's not going to be just this happily ever after, automatically.
Yeah, and then you evolve and you're always going to change. And I think a lot of women, we get into this like pitfall where we get married, we're in this like bubble, and then we get disappointed and our husband, does something or whatever, he's not fulfilling on an expectation that we have. And then we're living with so much resentment and disappointment. And, it really creates this really big disconnect from ourselves and from our partners.
Yeah. And so, what do you think are the biggest roadblocks that keep us from having the marriage we desire?
So we actually call it inside of our program the big lie. And the big lie is this like really big lie that nobody really ever talks about openly. And a lot of us aren't even conscious that it's there. It's something that we, all of us, have been deeply kind of programmed to believe is that a marriage or a relationship, or I should say a marriage, especially since we're talking about that, is never really going to work out. Like, not really. Like, there's always going to be a point where we're going to get disappointed, and it's not, even though we hope and we see these movies growing up and, we have these ideals about like the fairy tale life. But the truth is, if you really look at your life, like 99% of people, we don't have relationships around us that are perfect. Like it's just not possible. Even if your parents had a great relationship, there's always something that we look for that's like, oh no, but I don't want that and I don't want this. So subconsciously, we have this belief going into the marriage that, you know, I can't trust him or whatever those beliefs are. Like for me is like I can't count on men. I was going into the marriage with this belief that was really deeply rooted, but it was like, and then when my husband, had his failures, it was like the belief was proved to be true. Like I had evidence, and then we start gathering this evidence. So it's a huge roadblock if we're not being honest about it, if we're not actually being open about it. It really is like this veil, I think, that we relate to our partners through and to marriage, through the relationship that we have to marriage is through that veil a lot of times, through that lie.